Well, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I think Paulo's program has really outlined the many ways in which antitrust competition policy is different today than it was 30 years ago. In my remarks, I'm going to focus on one aspect that related to AI and the new technologies, but I wanted to emphasize how important we've now recognized the monopsony power in the labor market, which for a long time did not get very much attention. And I think it's really important because in terms of inequality, the markdowns on wages that are a result of the exercise of monopsony power are an important source of our inequality. And there's evidence that this is probably the monopsony power has increased. So I'll have a few remarks about that, but what I want to emphasize is that there are so many dimensions of what is going on that somehow, it's almost overwhelming. The second thing that will become very clear in my remarks is, for a long time, economists had a very simple benchmark model, a competitive equilibrium model. They knew what the outcome ought to be, and then you had anti-competitive deviations from that competitive equilibrium. We only had to assess those deviations. But we live in a world in which that competitive equilibrium model doesn't describe our economy at all. So we don't have really the benchmark model. So the question is, it gives us a feeling of maybe being a little bit rootless. But I'm going to argue that we still have ideas that are very relevant, like externalities, negative externalities that need to be controlled. We have ideas of abuse of market power. We can ascertain in many cases, why certain actions can they be justified in any way other than enhancing market power. So actually, game theory has given us lots of tools in order to assess what is going on. We don't have a clear benchmark, but we can, in each case, I think, make an assessment. The third thing that Paulo emphasizes the uncertainty of the evolution of the technology or the market. And that was an issue that we confronted when I was in the Council of Economic Advisors, chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, with President Clinton, when we were redoing the telecommunications bill. And there was a big split within those who were, debating the bill. There were those who believed that market forces would naturally lead to a competitive marketplace. And there were those like me who were skeptical and whose view is, yeah, that might happen, but it might not happen. And the cost of not having adequate oversight, if it doesn't happen, can be very, very large, and much larger than the cost of the oversight. So the particular provision that we were debating about was, should Department of Justice and the FCC have oversight, as well as the stakes over competition. And my view is you need more. The more the merrier, because there was capture. My particular view, I think, turned out to be right. But the bill turned out to be very flawed. Well, we all know what happened. We didn't wind up with a competitive landscape in telecommunications. And part of that has to do with one of the panels here, the interaction between the state and federal government that we had not fully anticipated and how those played out. So these themes that the polls emphasized are really central to a re-examination of what is of competition and competition policy. But I want this morning to focus more on the new technologies. And I think these have changed the landscape of competition and competition policies in fundamental ways, which make traditional tools less effective and necessitate a rethinking of how we can best promote competition. As I said, we don't know how AI competition will evolve, and that would determine who reaps the benefits. I mean, we can see two different models. If we have competition, the price goes down, then the standard competitive equilibrium says the benefits of the innovation will be widely shared. If we wind up with a monopoly, then it will be less widely shared, and a disproportionate fraction of those gains will go to the monopolist who control the industry. So it's very clear that how this evolves will make a very big difference. Now, it's also very clear what the market thinks. The market believes, when I say the market, the stock market, the people who are, they believe that we will not have competition. When you have trillion-dollar companies, they are the present discounted value of profits going forward. And if you believe in the standard competitive model, competition is going to drive down profits. There shouldn't be these multi-trillion-dollar companies. And so, when I sometimes interact with my friends in Europe and they look at envy at all these trillion-dollar companies, I say, well, yeah, it's partly tribute to the innovation in America, but it's also a tribute to the failure of competition policy, that we are committed to allowing these companies to reap monopoly profits for the foreseeable future. Now, I think actually there's some irrationality in all this, so I don't want to say it's all based on rational expectations, but I think what is very clear is that there is a expectation that we will not have a competitive AI landscape. But I do believe whether we do or not will depend a lot on the policies that we adopt. And that's why discussions like those this morning are so important. Now, let me describe some of the ways in which these new technologies are, in many ways, very different from the problems that we've discussed in the past, steel, oil, monopolies that are the classics. The first, there are chains of monopolies in the key sectors. Monopolies or at least very limited competition. Think of the process of what goes into AI. There's NVIDIA, which has the monopoly on fast chips. We have ASML, which has the monopoly in the production of the machines that make the chips. We have TMSE, which has virtually a monopoly in the production of the chips. This is not a competitive landscape in any way. What we don't fully understand is how these companies are dividing the rents that are going to be generated as a result of the failure to have a competitive landscape. And I look at ASML is now one of the most valuable companies in Europe. NVIDIA, one of the most valuable companies in the US. It's very clear that they've appropriated a lot of the rents, but I don't think our models have a very clear insight into the sharing of these rents and what that implies for policy. The second is that, is sometimes put the way, data is the new gold. And there's a session on data. And that means those who are ahead, especially if they don't have to pay for data, may be able to perpetuate their competitive advantage. They have more data, and that gives them a natural competitive advantage in attracting customers who give them then more data. So it's a cumulative process that is hard to dislodge. There is here a sense of deep market failure. They are getting away without paying for data that they steal. Normally we think in markets you pay for your inputs. And if data is the critical input, you should be paying for it. Unless it's free. I mean, unless it's just produced like manna from heaven. What the AI companies have done is globbed on to a provision in our copyright law called fair use. But fair use was never intended to allow this theft of data, say, from our newspapers, from our legacy producer of information. It was intended for academics to be able to use quotes from other people, for writers to use quotes. And this is maybe a fundamental point. A lot of our legal structure is inherited from a world where nobody conceived of the issues that we're facing today. And we then are trying to shoehorn current policies into an inappropriate legal structure. And so I think this is an example where we ought to rewrite our intellectual property laws to eliminate this fair use, to deal with this problem of AI firms ripping off others. And if we don't, it will have very serious consequences that I'll come to a little bit later. The third and fourth points that are distinctive about the new technologies and their market power is in many of the cases there are network externalities. And that's at least the case for social media. And we know when there are network externalities, it's very hard to dislodge an incumbent. And finally, these industries often have low marginal costs. So again, that means the market structure is naturally non-competitive. It may not be a monopoly, but it's an oligopoly. There's one more set of issues that I think has not gotten the attention that it deserves in the assessment of competition AI, and that's the global perspective. We are used to arguing about the value of global competition as circumscribing domestic market power. There are some cases like services where you can't, but in the trade in goods, global competition is a powerful force for limiting market power. That is being undermined by protectionism within this industry, which talks all the time about national security in the hardware, in the software, in social media, in every respect. There's been a big change from the neoliberal era without most people realizing, because they haven't got, the debates that we went through 20 years ago, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we had a big debate whether ownership mattered. And the view of many of the globalists was ownership shouldn't matter. After all, firms simply maximize profits. That's whether it's China owning Greek ports, or Germany owning Greek ports, or Greece owning Greek ports. It didn't make any difference because they would all do the same. And so this doctrine that in a world of profit maximizing firms that was strongly believed, ownership just wasn't important, and we shouldn't circumscribe it. We've all been following the TikTok case, where we said ownership didn't matter. And what we did is we turned over, we put pressure on TikTok to turn over control, and I'll come back, I'll explain what I mean, control to a firm of Trump cronies who would control TikTok. Now, I don't know how you feel, but I don't feel that those Trump cronies are any more likely to advance the interest of our country than China or ByteDance. I mean, I think basically they have an agenda that is not an agenda of maximizing the well-being of the United States. But what's really peculiar about that was the valuation of the company was put at $16 billion, relative, really, really small relative to the revenues of TikTok America. So what one realized was they hadn't really turned over control of TikTok. It wasn't clear what they had turned over. It was maybe a gift to the cronies of Trump, but it was hard to see this as, TikTok still controlled the algorithm. It was clear that the algorithm got all the money. So it just wasn't clear what had occurred. But making it even more of a concern is the argument was that TikTok could get access to our data. Now, and turn it over to China. Now, what China is going to do with data about what our children spend their time doing, or it's not. Nobody ever explained what the consequence of their getting this data was. But if this is a serious concern, it's also a serious concern because Meta is allowed to sell its data to China. Musk is allowed to sell his data to China. We have no law stopping any American company from selling their data to China. So it's clear what this is a pure protectionist measure, which some people think Zuckerberg managed to do to undermine TikTok, which was a very strong competitor to Facebook. It was, you might say, old-fashioned protectionism. This is important because in this whole arena, China has succeeded in producing price-competitive products largely based on its competitive advantage in engineering. Now, this is something that's really difficult for, I think, Americans to understand. 45 years ago, when I first went to China and it began its development course, China's comparative advantage was based on its enormous pool of unskilled labor. and the Samuelson-Stoper theory, all the standard theories, so Heckscher-Ohlin said, that's what its comparative advantage is. And many of us still think about China in that way. But China now has more engineers than any other country. China's comparative advantage is in engineering. And it's made, and innovation in general, it's made over 25 years, the past 25 years, innovation has been at the center of their development strategy. And it has succeeded. Just to give you, I was at a dinner with, one of the Nobel Prize winners in physics, and he was saying, the remarkable thing is that in the American Physics Journal, the leading American physics journals, now there are more peer-reviewed articles by Chinese physicists than American physicists. There was a recent New York Times article describing a study that showed that in terms of research output, including weighting it by citations, the top universities are all in China. And not all in China, but Oxford is one, and US used to have some, but Trump has done a lot to try to destroy that. So the point is that China will be the source of competition to our AI monopolists. And the question is how we respond. We have already taken measures to eliminate this competitive threat. There are those, for instance, with Huawei. There are those who want to restrict open source provision of AI on national security grounds. One of the strongest companies to do that is reported to be OpenAI, which began advocating OpenAI, but now realizes that's not its business model. It's closed AI, and it wants others to be closed because it doesn't want open source competition, arguing that that is necessary if China is not going to use our AI. But of course, the consequence of that will be weakened domestic competition. Now, I find it hard to assess the nature of these national security issues, which have not been so much at the center of antitrust in the past. But it is easy to see how they'll weaken competition. I'll come back to that later on. So Paul asked me to provide a big picture view. And the big picture view is that there is a lack of alignment between the interests of the dominant technology firms and their owners and the well-being of our country, of our citizens. Adam Smith talked about the pursuit of self-interest leading as if by an invisible hand to the well-being of society. But that was based on a model in which there was a high alignment between the two. And the theory was about trying to analyze when there was this alignment. It's very clear, and I'll come back to that, that is not the case in these new technologies. At the same time, these new technologies have the power to undermine the traditional grounds for the efficiency of the market economy. And I'll explain that, and I think these are among the core issues. Of course, it's not a surprise that firms try to undermine competition. I sometimes joke that we at the business school try to teach how to make profits, and the best way of making profits is to create market power. It's no fun being in a competitive industry and profits being driven to zero. And we teach all kinds of ways in which you can create market power. Warren Buffett, all our leading entrepreneurs have recognized this. Peter Thiel said competition is for losers. Warren Buffett said, the way I think about it is, I tell my people who work for me to think about a company as surrounded by a moat, and their job is every year to make that moat bigger and bigger. And if I make the moat big enough, even my idiot nephew can run the company. So that's sort of, they understand that if you are in a competitive environment, you won't be able to get the return on the huge investment going to getting an MBA. So the only way you can do that is make sure you're in a firm that can get some monopoly rents. And so we teach them how to do that. So every firm does what it can to reduce competition. There's a natural level of market power in this sector. That's why competition authorities need to be particularly vigilant about anti-competitive practices. And the EU, the UK, and the FTC during the Biden administration, when Econ was there, tried to do this. But in the US, it's been a hard fight, partly because of the legal framework that was adopted that is inherited from a different era. And so there are a lot of bad decisions that are in the law and that make it hard to address these unless we get new legal frameworks. I want to highlight 4 general points. First, these new technologies, AI in particular, put a lot of these things on steroids, have the ability to facilitate price discrimination. And price discrimination undermines the first fundamental theorem of welfare economics. When we explain to our students why markets are efficient, we explain it's because everybody faces the same prices and the same costs. And if you are in a world, there is a world where there's perfect price discrimination, then you get efficiency again. But we're not in that world where it's an imperfect price discrimination, and that really distorts the economy. So what has been going on is this great distortion to our market economy. Not only are these sectors not competitive, but they're undermining competition in all the other sectors of our economy. So that's what they're doing. Of course, we understand what they're doing. They're attempting to grab a share, grab more and more of the consumer surplus and producer surplus by this price discrimination. And then the AI companies and social media, in turn, get a large share of the consumer and surplus.